Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for the week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic, and these are the horoscopes for the week ending 4/25/2015. We got lots of excitement coming up this week, including the first full week of Taurus. So we got some birthdays to celebrate, of course. But before we get to that, we're going to get started, as we usually do, with Aries. Yes, the sun is leaving your sign and will officially be gone on Monday. Monday is the first day of the sun's visit in Taurus. And it's actually going to be kind of nice because you're really going to kind of feel a bit of a slowdown with all of these planets being in your sign. It's been really hectic the last few weeks. Now things can kind of sort of chill. But of course that squared position between Uranus and Pluto is still there. It's not going anywhere, of course, unfortunately, although I'd be happy to report it leaving, but unfortunately it's not going to happen this year anytime soon anyways. That is going to be a little bit of a difficulty, especially when it makes you feel as if you just don't have the time to do the things that you would like to do for yourself, your own goals and dreams and wishes that you would like to do for yourself. And that's very frustrating, especially for you Rams, when you really just want to do something, you get it in your mind and you want to do it. You can't find the time to do it. That's a difficulty. But at the same time, Uranus is trine with Jupiter really shows you how being you is in your advantage, because let's face it, with such bright ideas and such a quick thinking process, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And you do it by being yourself. So you have control over your schedule. This is what this is all about. You can add things into it whenever you like, even if that means that you have to do a little bit of rescheduling every once in a while. So don't give up. Don't let that frustration get a hold of you and drag you down, because it's not needed at all. In fact, the challenge is merely something to come in your way and say, hey, you could do a little bit better. And I know you can. So you guys have a great week with that. Taurus, happy birthday officially, Taurus, as the sun starts his progression for the next 28 days in your sign. And definitely happy birthday to all of the bulls having birthdays this week. And some very special ones, I might add, are having a birthday this week for me. First of all, let me just go ahead and say happy birthday to my favorite girls. Yes, my daughters Kayla and Caitlin. They came to me fully grown and practically perfect in every way. And they're going to be 19 years old on the 21st. So happy birthday to you guys. I hope that it is the best day ever for both of you. And also, we can't forget to say happy birthday to Grateful Dave, who's celebrating his birthday this Friday the 24th. We're not going to say how old he is, but it's probably somewhere in the area of 21 to 25, okay? At least that's what we'll just put out there right now. So yes, happy birthday to Dave Gamble, also known as Grateful Dave of Grateful Fairy Wings, and my dear old dad. And I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day on your birthday as well, as everybody should. Everybody should have great days on their birthdays, because it really is all about you. Or if you're sharing a birthday, all about you and the other person. But you know, I know how that is. In any case, this week is going to be a great week for you guys. There is a little bit of an issue as the the moon actually kicks off the week in your sign. And when she's full conjunction between Mercury and Mars, she also joins their little bit of a squared position with Jupiter this week. And the square is going to be there for the majority of the week, and it really does make it seem as if you can't make advancements in your career or what you want to do for work by being yourself. And of course, you don't want to be anybody but yourself. So this causes a little bit of a difficulty. Sort of feels like you're being called out for your own personality, and that can be a little bit of a difficulty. But, and there's a but in there, at the same time, all three of these planets, and Mars and Mercury when the moon moves on in a day or so, are also trined with Pluto and in sextile position with Neptune, which turns into a beautiful grand sextile later on in the week. And this makes money and time available to you to take a look at some of those maybe advancements that you've been looking for when it comes to your career. The big thing about this lesson here between the square with Jupiter is if things are becoming stagnant or you're just not feeling it anymore, it's time to move on. And you got to give yourself the permission to say, bye-bye, stagnant situation. You're no longer serving my needs. And dare yourself to do something that you've never done before. Take a little bit of a risk. You can't have that awesome outcome if you don't take that little bit of a risk. So, yes, there's a little bit of a difficulty there, but these trines and these positions with these other planets make it so that it's really, really, really showing you the changes that you need to make for you in order to advance yourself successfully. So you guys, happy birthday if you're celebrating a birthday this week, and have a great week with that. Gemini, as the moon moves into your sign Monday through Wednesday, it's going to create a little bit of an issue, especially as she joins her conjunction with Venus, which is in T-squared position with Saturn and Neptune through Thursday this week. And this is a temporary feeling, but it's definitely a heavy feeling, as it feels like it's you against the world. And the biggest thing about this aspect is that it really makes you feel as if somebody's trying to say to you that you can't be you in order to be successful. And really, how dare somebody say you can't be you in order to be successful? The truth is, that's on them, it's not on you. And you may feel as if you want to take on that, okay, I need to change who I am in order to be successful. But then you're Geminis and you're going to get over it. Because who the heck tells you how to be anyways, right? The truth is that there's also a beautiful grand sextile between Jupiter and Venus, and also Uranus, that really, really shows you, really thins that veil between those who are saying these things and what is the actual truth, which is you can do anything you put your mind to it, and definitely be yourself in the process. Of course, if we're talking about being you and there's some difficulties, communication difficulties there, you do want to try and change your communication to be a little bit more successful. But if somebody's attacking your personality, that's completely different. Your personality is yours, and it should stay that way. Even your work methods to a certain extent. If you're not hurting anybody and you are successful doing what you're doing, there is no reason for you to change that regardless of what anybody says. So, it may seem like a little bit of a difficulty there, but at the same time, you're a Gemini. And you can get through it. Not only can you get through it, but you can get through it and be successful at it. So you guys, have a great week with that. Cancer. This week, we're still working on the internal self, and it's not necessarily a pretty thing always, but it is necessary for all of us to go through. And this week, you may be feeling that there's a nagging change inside of you that really, really, really needs to be done. You need to address it. And oftentimes, we look at those things and we go, okay, later on, throw it on the back burner. I got too much other stuff to worry about. But it still nags on the inside of you. And this week, it's really, that nagging is going to be loud, especially when the moon comes into your sign Thursday and Friday. And as she comes into your sign, she moves into T-squared position with Uranus and Pluto, really making it difficult when it comes to achieving your goals and dreams and having the time available to do that at the same time. Really is a frustration, and it can be very overly emotional, but at the same time, this challenge is coming up, as they always do, for a reason. It's coming through and saying, hey, are you ready to make this change that internally is nagging at you? Because it needs to be made. And while you're dealing with it and trying just to be okay with it, eventually you're not going to be okay with it, and eventually you are going to need to make that change. So why wait? Why put it off, and why put yourself through that misery any longer when you can just pull that little root right there and make that change right now? Because what you're doing is you're daring to make a decision for yourself, for your own improvement, for your own life, and for your own happiness. And if anybody deserves that, it's you guys. So you guys, have a great week with that. Leo, how about some lucky Leos this week as the part of fortune kicks off the week in your sign Sunday and Monday, and it's really all about you. You are lucky to be you. Now, how does that make any sense at all, especially when you're going through some difficulties? Well, nobody handles these kinds of situations better than you Leos. So in one instance, that is where it is very lucky to be you. When you approach a situation and you clear your mind to do it, you really can move mountains if you want to, and that is what it's all about. Jupiter is going to be squared with Mercury and Mars this week, and that is going to cause a little bit of a difficulty, even some aggressive tendencies when it comes to your career, specifically about being you in your career. And you may feel that you're being called out for doing things that really are just a part of you and may not be understood by everybody else. And you know what? That's okay. Don't take it too personally, because at the same time, a grand sextile between Jupiter, Venus, and Uranus counteracts that negative energy and brings you some beautiful positive energy when it comes to your goals and dreams. So what is this challenge at the workplace telling us? Maybe it's time to change what's going on with that workplace and strive for something that actually works a little bit better for you, because you do deserve that from time to time. It's not just about your responsibilities. You got to be happy in the process. So even though there is a challenge there, there's still a lot of really good energy, and of course you're starting off the week with some luck on top of that. So really, things are looking absolutely beautiful this week. Harness that energy, tap into that energy, and grab a hold of what you want with both hands. And don't ask permission before you do it. You guys are wearing the crown. You guys have a great week with that. Virgo, the dark moon is coming back into your sign again this week, and it is calling for some change when it comes to how you think about things again. Yes. We're coming back to that also, but she's also shedding some light on your past. This is really geared towards thoughts about your past and where you come from. You've got some beautiful things that have taken place in your past that show a lot of beautiful growth, but you've also got some not so great things in your past that maybe you kind of mull over and wish you had done things differently. Well, when these situations come up, or these focuses on the past come up, there's always a reason for it. Whether it was a good situation or a bad situation, it is teaching you something. And how you think about those situations is of the utmost importance to the situation. Think about it. Even the good things that have taken place, you're probably still analyzing it in the Virgo way, thinking of ways that you could improve the situation. And that is a good thing, because when the situation comes up again, you're going to nail it even quicker. It'll be even better the next time around. Same thing with the difficult situations. If you're looking back and wishing that you had done something differently, if the situation comes up again, this is your chance to do it differently and not necessarily make the same mistakes before. Everything is a lesson, or there's a lesson for everything. And that doesn't make past memories go away. What it does do is it puts them in a place where it can help you, rather than you wallowing in the analyzing of the situation, which is definitely going to do nothing but confuse you and frustrate you when it comes down to it. So you guys can't say that it's all good. Hey, I can't say that it's all bad. And you got some lucky days there also, Monday through Wednesday. Really getting some luck with those changing of those perceptions. And once you get those perceptions changed, guys, there's no stopping you. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra, the dark moon moves out of your sign this week, giving you a bit of a break from her need for change, and your focus is really on your home this week. In fact, it's about the last week where you're really going to be focused on the home, whether it's making changes or reorganization of the home. For you Libras, this is a very, very, very important place in your life. If home is out of balance, everything else is going to be out of balance, because the home place is the stability of your lives. And if things are not working there, they're really not going to work outside of your life. It's just disorganization everywhere. This week is really all about ideas, and the part of fortune coming in Wednesday through Friday really shed some luck on some really brilliant ideas. for reorganizing or maybe making things at home or the home office flow a little bit better. Have a little bit more of a not a tighter schedule, but have things actually working like the well-oiled machine that you would like them to work. Wouldn't that be lovely? And you have the power to make that happen. This week is all about harnessing those ideas, not just coming up with the ideas, but really putting the work into it and saying and making those ideas realities, testing them out and seeing what you can do with the results. And I guarantee it's probably going to be pretty epic, since you Libras are pretty darn brilliant at these sorts of things. Also, when it comes down to it, by organizing and creating that stability and that balance in your home, it really just shines out into other aspects of your life. So you start where it's most important, and you see that energy going out everywhere else in your life. So you guys have a great week with that. Scorpio, this week you're kind of sort of getting into one of those moments where there's really not a lot of focus this week. Actually, you're gravitating out of home focus and just kind of sort of up in the air focus, which is a great thing and a not so great thing at the same time. It could be a not so great thing because you could get kind of bored with really nothing to do, or it means the sky's the limit and there's tons of possibilities that you could be focusing on. That in itself can also be a difficulty, because how do you choose? Well, the part of fortune comes into your sign at the end of this week on Saturday, kind of sort of helping you choose what you should focus on. And it really shines some luck when it comes to the home and enjoying some time with those you love specifically. And this is not work time, this is enjoying time. Whether it be Saturday barbecue, or just a home with the kids, or taking your family or your group of friends out to just have a good time. It is all about enjoying those most important people in your life. And a lot of luck. You'll have a lot of luck this weekend, not just Saturday, but for the whole weekend, to really spend some happy moments. These are those memory-making moments in life that are so valuable to us. In fact, they're more valuable than anything on the planet, and definitely more valuable than money. So you don't have to work so hard this week. It's not all about work. It's about enjoying what it is that you've been working so hard for. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, this week starts off with Saturn in T-square position with Venus and Neptune, rather than just the square with Neptune, until about Thursday this week. And now, instead of it just being a financial issue and your responsibilities getting in the way of you being able to spend your money the way you would like to spend it, we're going to broaden that out a little bit with the addition of Venus. And now your responsibilities are really also keeping you from being able to do those things that you enjoy doing, or spending time maybe with people that you want to spend time with. And that can be a difficulty because it feels like you're being tied down. And no Sagittarius likes to feel like they're tied down. Situations may come up this week that make you feel as if you'd like to do these things, but you can't because you're responsible to other people or your family or your job. And of course, the money's not there to get these things done. So you have to say no. And you really, really, really want to say yes. You don't want to say no. So this creates the difficulty here, or the challenge. But it's not going to be so difficult after Thursday once Venus moves out of that aspect and it becomes a squared position again. Now let's talk about money here for a second, because money is all in the mind when you think about it. Now a lot of people are going to call shenanigans on what I just said, because of course you need money to survive, right? And yes, we all do. But at the same time, our own perceptions about money and whether or not we have it will really get in the way of us being able to get the money. So by thinking that you're broke and you're tired of being in this broke pattern, if you're tired of being in the broke pattern, stop it. Stop thinking that you're broke. Stop talking about being broke. Stop talking about not having any money. Stop wishing that you had money for this and that and the other thing, and let it go. Change that around to an attitude of gratitude. Are your bills paid? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have everything that you need? Do you have food in your belly? If you answered any one of those questions with a yes, then you're not broke. You have everything that you need. changing this mindset allows you to open those money doors and allow the money to flow in that you need, so that instead of just taking care of your needs, you also have some of those things that you want too. And the power really is all in your hands. You just got to believe that it is. So you guys do a good job with that and have a great week. Capricorn, Pluto squared position with Uranus this week is really going to make things difficult when it seems like you just don't have enough time in the day to do all of the things that you want to do. And this is very frustrating, especially for you Capricorns, as you want to get everything on your to-do list checked off, done, and sent off, basically, to do whatever it is that they're going to do. And this aspect is going to become more intense as the moon moves into T-square position with these two planets, making this situation mimic past experiences, specifically past experiences of failure, where you've become so overwhelmed that you literally drop the ball on everything. Now, before this happens, guys, take a step back and take a big deep breath. And Pluto's trine with Mars and Mercury, and also his sextile position, which will be a grand sextile later on in the week with Neptune, really shows you just how much you can achieve if you put your mind to it. Also makes the money available, and when it comes to your career, you've got a beautiful energy going towards that particular aspect of your life right now. And as far as Mercury is concerned, he's helping you out with the communication at the same time, communicating your needs and communicating how you want your career to be. So the bottom line with this challenge is focus on one thing at a time, Capricorns, not the whole pie at the same time. If you're going to make a pie, you got to make the crust first and then make the filling. You can't put them both together, otherwise you don't get the pie that you want. You get some sort of mess that might taste like a pie, but it doesn't look like a pie. And it may not cook the right way either. You want everything to cook the way that you wanted it to cook in the first place. So one thing at a time, guys, this week. We all know that you can handle it, but just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And you don't want to burn yourself out. So you guys have a good week with that. Aquarius, it's all about relationships this week, Aquarius, and it's not just the love kind of relationships. We're talking all kinds of relationships. Every relationship that you generally create throughout your lifetime. When you think back on the amount of relationships that you have, it can really blow your mind, because we form all kinds of different relationships with people, whether it be friendships, we have relationships with different family members, we've got business relationships, all kinds of relationships. And if you look at your relationships, some of them work like a well-oiled machine. Two people can come together and create this beautiful thing or wonderful thing, whether they're working together in a love relationship or business relationship. They work great together, and some just don't work well at all. And this is what this week is all about, is those relationships that just aren't working quite so much. If you find yourself in the position to where you're in one of those types of relationships where you're either not getting what it is that you need out of that relationship, or possibly the relationship is just not working for you, or you're just not feeling it, now's the time to make those changes, or see if you can make those changes, and definitely implement those changes if it is possible. But you don't want to look just at the other person, as in they have a problem with the relationship, but I don't. That is typical Aquarian ego, by the way. I'm just saying, it's not always about that person, and you can't change them. It's about you. What is it about this person that bothers you on the inside? And it becomes an internal problem for you. Not exactly what most Aquarians want to hear, but that's the darn truth from one Aquarian to another. That is always how it is. Now, you've looked at that, if you've tried everything, if you've tried to change the relationship and it's just not working for you, you have the right to walk away from it if it really isn't going to fit. And that is your choice. This is your path, and you need to walk it the way that you need to walk it, and not necessarily wait for everybody else to be on board with you, because that's not how it works. And besides, you Aquarians are very independent. You should be able to be lone walkers and comfortable with it. So not necessarily the greatest news in the world, but it's not the worst news in the world, guys. And you can do this. You can make the changes that you need, because to be honest with you, if you're not feeling the awesome, you need to make the change. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. We're going to have a money issue again this week, unfortunately, as Neptune is T-squared with Saturn and Venus for the first part of the week, at least until about Thursday, and then Venus moves out of that aspect, and it just becomes a square with Saturn. But really, it's all about your responsibilities. Every dime you make goes to what you're responsible for, and not necessarily your wants and needs. And this is very, very frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody, and Pisces is not the only sign that's going through this right now, unfortunately. But at the same time, Uranus is grand sextile with Jupiter and Mars and Venus, and in the very beginning of the week, the moon also creates beautiful possibilities when it comes to making that money. The big thing here that this positive aspect is trying to teach you about the negative aspect is that it's all in your control, and you're giving the control away the minute you start complaining that things are not working out for you. And this is the bottom line. Any kind of complaining or whining, or not saying that you all do it, but anything like that, or any type of negative verbal communication about what is going on, unless it's followed up with, this is what I'm going to do to fix it, not going to work. You're going to stay in that position for as long as you would like to stay in that position, for as long as you're willing to do that and not make the change. With this grand sextile, you're looking at a big boost of energy when it comes to making money. And if you need money, you can always make money. A traditional 9-to-5 job is not the only way to make money. And no, I'm not saying sell yourselves on a street corner either. There's other ways. Everybody's got a little bit of something that makes them special, or something that they can do that they can make money on. So rather than complaining about the situation as it is, turn that around, open it up, and say, okay, how do I generate a little bit more income so that I can meet my needs and my responsibilities at the same time? Because you guys are really, really, really good at that when you put your mind to it. So believe in you. Don't stop believing in you. And you guys have a great week with that. Thanks for watching the horoscopes again this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Of course, don't forget to check me out on the Heavy Metal Psychic Friday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on www.paramaniaradio.com, or you can check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Heavy Metal Psychic. You can also check us out. We got classes that are starting to form here pretty soon in the next few weeks on our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Grateful Fairy Wings. And as always, you can check us out on our website and see what we're up to. We do private sessions, Reiki courses, all kinds of beautiful stuff. But you won't know what we do until you go check us out. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week.